What is going on back at David Confused? It's been forever since I've seen you, and I've missed you so much. So like I said in one of my videos on the channel that I'm moving into a new studio and hitting hiccups here and there, and it's kind of delaying the process and everything. So I'd say the studio is maybe like 30% done, but I set something up for now that will work for now so I can still make videos, because I haven't put up a video in like over a week. It's been ridiculous. But this is a kind of cool topic, and I think there are people that watch this channel that will relate to this topic with the game Dungeons and Dragons. Now, everybody's heard of this game, but not everybody has played it or necessarily understand exactly how it's played. In 1974, the game Dungeons and Dragons was created by two friends, and essentially there's no game board per se. A lot of it takes place in your mind. So the better your imagination, the better you are at Dungeons and Dragons. And the game really blew up, especially in the 80s, but with everything that's big and exciting comes other problems. You see, players of Dungeons and Dragons nowadays have massive textbooks of rules and regulations that you have to use in the game. Where back when the game first started, that wasn't necessarily the case. There was a lot more leniency amongst other things. But people started to take the game a little more seriously than you'd think. Sometimes people would not be able to remove themselves from the characters that they played within the Dungeons and Dragons game. And this became something of nightmares. In the 80s, there was actually a string of suicides all related back to Dungeons and Dragons, where people took their characters so seriously that if they were to die in game or do something bad within the game, they were punished in real life. There was an actual couple of college and high school students that took their own life because they died within the Dungeons and Dragons game. A character that they've created and have played as for years is no longer a part of them, and it was so important to them that they actually took their own lives because of him. Now obviously this took just the media by storm, and you got to remember, back then there wasn't Facebook and Google and everything. It was the nightly news, and the nightly news was basically saying that Dungeons and Dragons is like a gateway to Satanism, witchcraft, the occult, all of that. Now, I think obviously that's clearly not the case of what this game is, but one may wonder, can somebody take this game too seriously? And if they are, how seriously is too seriously? People were actually finding old spell books from witches from like the Salem days and actually trying to use them within the game. The game was becoming so popular that there was actual religious groups that were protesting that the game not be played in public libraries or at colleges or high schools. And ironically, the body count kept rising, and there was actually an incident where two students hung a fellow student in their high school bathroom because he betrayed them in the game of Dungeons and Dragons. And obviously, the most powerful muscle that your body has is your mind. Your mind can take you to the darkest places that you've never been. And sometimes, when it's too dark, you can't find your way out. So, a lot of religious groups, churches, and college professors started massive groups protesting the game of Dungeons and Dragons. Now, actually, recently, within the last about 10, 11 years, there's been another massive resurface of the game Dungeons and Dragons. And it's actually a lot more media based, where you can create characters online, sign up for newsletters, and play with people via satellite webcam. But it makes you wonder, will you ever go back to the time where the occult or Satanism was possibly a part of the Dungeons and Dragons game? Now, New Age websites deny any participation with any church or any religious fact, but there are a lot of common grounds within the game and actual biblical readings. So if you're interested in this, you should definitely take the time and research the game Dungeons & Dragons and see if there are people in your area playing this game. I've personally played it a couple times and it's actually a lot of fun. But finding the right group of people that you want to play with is really important. Well, that's my video today. Have you ever played Dungeons & Dragons or Pathfinder or Monsters and Mazes or whatever the name may be? If you have, leave it in the comments below and your experiences playing the game. Also, remember always to leave a ghost story or a comment because that could end up in one of our later videos. And I'm going to keep working on the studio and eventually I'm going to do a video of, basically where I'm filming at and give you guys a better sense of the confused base, the confused army base. Well, I'm Dave DeBomb. Thank you so much for tuning in, and at least our dogs aren't werewolves.